especially with the internet today and all the news services and all the internet sites on Armenia today, you can get up-to-the-minute, up-to-date news on Armenia every day. You could see really what's going on from top to bottom, you know, politically, economically, socially, culturally. You could see what's going on here in this country. So use the internet.
Would it be difficult for someone that doesn't speak Armenian to live here?
No, not anymore. Not anymore. That is very amazing. I don't think that's amazing in a sense that majority of people, Armenians, speak 3 languages minimum. So I think you can survive.
I've known of one person, you know, who was very nationalistic, very patriotic. He wanted to retire here. He had married a wife who was from Armenia, and they worked in the US for a number of years. So he sold everything, left his job and came here. 3 months later he was back in the US and in a dire situation of having lost his job, you know. The least he should have done is come here as a visitor, stay here for 6 months and decide whether this was his place. You can't just expect people to be the way things are back home. You have to be ready for surprises.
A diasporan Armenian would have to come here and visit Armenia for a lengthy period first, but not just Yerevan. He would have to go see the country northeast, southwest. You'd have to go to Karabakh. You'd have to go stay in Goris for a couple of days. You'd have to go to the northeast, stay at Sevan. You know, come back in the winter, see what it's like here in the winter and the spring. So basically come in, let's say, summer going into fall for a couple of months. Then come, let's say, in February and March, you know, and see what it's like. And then make a decision. And I think it'll be a very easy decision, especially if they're young, because the youth is coming. It's starting to come.
So I would say that there's great potential here. I'd say there's a lot of fun to be had, And I would say that there's a lot of satisfaction to be had.
There was one person in particular I remember, who was American, married to an Armenian from Hayastan, who talked about having 2 distinct homelands, and you know, that's confusing but also brings a richness to it, and that obviously a position of privilege, but I think one that many diasporans would aspire to.
It opens doors, you know. It's a small country, you're a big fish.
For some reason it just becomes a part of you. Every day as you live here with the people, it just really becomes a part of who you are.
And we honestly, truly do love the Armenian people so much that it really turns out not to be so much of a sacrifice, but so much of an enjoyment that we're doing here.
What's your name?
My name is, right now I go by the name Elder, so I'm Elder Schroeder, but my real name is Jacob Schroeder.
And what does this say? Jacob Schroeder?
Yeah, this is my name, Yeret Schroeder, and this is our church name, Jesus Christosi Verchin Oreri Srperi Yekechetsi.
That's great.
If there's any way you can get back to your homeland, you got to do it, because there are people leaving every day, but to protect those cultures and those traditions that are so rich and so vital to this people, you got to come back. We're asking you to come back.
Do you miss your friends in the United States?
I do miss them. I miss my family and my friends, but this is my home now. So if they miss me, let them come and visit me. Well, I do go once a year to the state for doctor's appointment, whatever. But when I go over there, I miss this place so much, Armenia, that I have to come back. Especially the last week of my staying in the United States, I count the days and hours when am I going to go back to Armenia. Well, it is my home now, so that's why I love it.
I was born in Iran, I grew up in the States, and I'm maturing in Armenia. So life brought me here. I needed a very big change. I had 3 choices, actually 4 choices. Moving to Iran, going to Washington, going to Glendale, or doing something really absurd, which it wasn't absurd at the time. Actually, I needed a change, so I came to Armenia.
Were you scared?
No. No. Why would I be scared? Change is good.
We want to be a good example to other diasporan Armenians and show them that this is the place to be, and that's it. This is the future.
I feel more positive lately. I know that we had a very rough year. I'm very cognizant, very burdened, very bothered by March 1st and the events. On the flip side, I'm very proud that my people's voices are continuously loud and getting louder. I'm also very proud of the changes I've seen in the government in the last few weeks. Since the change in presidency, there have been a few institutionalized new events that have given me great hope. There are still many things that I see that bother me that should be different.
I do hope that things get better and we see more diasporans come here. I believe in the end there's reason to stay in this country. There's a section in society who are very dear to me. You have to visit any village and you find out about the folks with whom you get connected.
I mean, I invite everyone to come here and have that experience because I love my life right now. I love it. Are you gonna cry?
I don't look at life the same way my friends do in LA because most of them are just narrow-minded. Not that they're not smart. I mean, they think this way. A lot of people here think this way, but I think this way. I mean, I think this way and that way. And I think it's a part of me. I'm happy, and I thank my parents for that.
It's interesting when you mix a local with a diasporan in matrimony because you're coming from 2 different places but you're still Armenian. It's like when you first show up in Armenia, you think you're finally coming to your home where your people are. And then you meet the people and you realize you're totally different. You know, yes, you are Armenian, but it's not, you know, it's not the Armenian that you know, you've known. And so you have to kind of adjust and learn. And I'm fortunate because my husband went to America and saw the Armenians there and realized those aren't the Armenians he knows. And so we've had to adjust to one another. And in a lot of ways it works because he gives me the best of his culture and I try to do the same.
Danny, how do you feel?
I feel great. Mary, how do you feel?
I feel wonderful.
For all of you who don't know Mary and myself, Mary and I had our first date at karaoke with Robert.
Yeah.
And you met in Armenia, you're from the US and you met in Armenia?
That's correct.
The marriage is just the last step in a year-long relations, and for the first period we had problems to understand each other, our families. But by the time that we made that decision, everything was great, and we just have a great fun. Of course, the life is difficult. We will have problems, but I think it will be the same if I choose the Armenian.
Are you glad you moved to Armenia? Are you glad?
You know I'm glad.
Now when I go back, everybody envies me. We should have moved with you. Everybody tells me we should have moved. It's too late now. I tell them it's never too late. It is never too late because there's still, this country has a space to grow. Huge potential.
Would you consider moving to Armenia?
I don't know.